What's up, folks? Welcome to the Shots Fired podcast with DP. I'm your host, Des Pop, aka Jay Semino, and today is July 2026. Hope everyone is doing well. Currently listening to the Tyler Robinson pretrial hearing on my earbuds, so I may be pausing every now and then if something juicy comes across, but very early on. I can tell that the defense is practicing for a jury. Why do I say that? Because they're asking questions as if a jury is present, right? This is a prelim hearing. This is about evidence and what may or may not be allowed at trial. And this entire process is for the judge and judge alone. A judge is not a juror, meaning the judge is not a fucking idiot. Jurors very often are fucking idiots. And it's clear that the defense is going to prep this hoping they have a few Candace Owens fans on the jury. The trick there is to throw shit at the wall and hope something sticks. Try to get a juror to say to themselves, yeah, I remember hearing about this or that from Candace or Owen Schroyer or Ryan Matta. Basically, whatever faggot-ass grifter throws out there for clicks while at the same time claiming to care for Charlie, while claiming they care about justice. They don't. They truly fucking don't. And their nonstop bullshit is going to help Robinson get a walk. Now, I have never been a conspiracy-minded person, although I too have a deep distrust for the government, and yes, even distrust in my former profession, law enforcement. But I also know that a conspiracy is only successfully pulled off when all conspirators are dead. I believe it was good old Ben Franklin that said, 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. Folks, it's a tale as old as time, and the reason why that holds true is because people talk. There's nobody talking here, right? Nobody talking here, as with all of your fucking conspiracy theories, your 9/11 truthers. Nobody's talking, right? Everything you have is due to lack of evidence, right? It can't be stopped, meaning people talking. A dude gets drunk, tells his girlfriend a little something, they break up and she spills the beans or runs to the cops. Lather, rinse, repeat. Happens all the time. People can't keep their fucking mouth shut. Like I said, for example, you 9/11 truthers think you're wicked more smarter than everybody else because you think you're willing to dig deeper into the story. Except you're not digging deeper. You're being dragged there. You're not in control of your own mind. Why? Probably because you're an untrustworthy piece of shit. Liars don't believe anyone else. Phony people like Candace think everyone around them is phony. You're a piece of shit, and therefore everyone else must be too. You think everybody thinks like you. The truth is, you're fucking stupid, and maybe a tad psychotic, or both. You're not some deep thinker. You base your evidence on what you don't see. Oh, why are they not sharing this, or telling us about that? And because you're not being spoon-fed every detail, you decide to fill in the blanks with insane Hollywood script-type theories. You think everything is like a Jason Bourne film, and you take your cues from vile assholes who only have their bank accounts in mind.
I don't know what happened. I just know what didn't happen. And I feel confident stating that Tyler Robinson did not murder Charlie Kirk. Whether or not he was an accessory to the crime, do I believe he was at Dairy Queen dropping off clothes? Yeah. How did he get mixed up in that? I don't know. Maybe he was blackmailed. Maybe he got involved in some weird stuff online. That's the easiest way for the feds to blackmail someone. I think his roommate is a federal asset, Lance Twiggs. The person.
Why do you think that?
Because the police didn't even question him, which is bonkers. Yeah, Lance Twiggs. I spoke to Lance Twiggs, his family, and they think he's involved. And they don't understand why the police just sat him down for a few hours and let him go. And they said he's involved in a lot of bad stuff.
Did you catch what she just said? If you only caught the part where she claims Lance Twiggs wasn't even interviewed by law enforcement, congratulations, you're a fucking retard. And that was exactly her motive. She just wants you to listen to half of what she says, but listen again.
His roommate is a federal asset, Lance Twiggs. The person.
Why do you think that?
Because the police didn't even question him, which is bonkers. Yeah, Lance Twiggs. I spoke to Lance Twiggs, his family, and they think he's involved. And they don't understand why the police just sat him down for a few hours and let him go.
Did you catch it that time? She says he wasn't interviewed, but then adds that he was interviewed for a few hours. That's a lot different than saying he wasn't fucking interviewed. She does this all the time. She talks out of both sides of her blown out asshole. Yeah, that's right, bitch. Rhode Island is a very small state, and your exploits on campus are still legendary. She gives herself an out because whenever she's called on her comments, she always says, I didn't say that, and then plays the proof of the opposite. But the fact is, she does say that while squeezing in a little of this. The problem is her true loyal followers only hear the first part, and now there's millions of vile faggots out there who are convinced that the fake girlfriend-boyfriend Lance Twiggs, who was a very integral part of this case, was never interviewed by law enforcement. And if you did happen to hear the second part, you're left to think, well, 2 hours is not enough. Says who? You? The person who was never in law enforcement? Honestly, and the worst part of this to me is, who the fuck do you think you are? The Owens, the Schroyers, the Matters of the world. You think you're owed an explanation before trial? You're not the fucking judge. You're not the fucking jury. They are the only people who are owed the evidence. No one else. Not you, not me, not even Erica Kirk.
And they wanted to channel that energy toward Erica, who in my honest to God perspective, I believe she is a tried and true psychopath. Truly.
Wow, right? Fucking wow. She's one to be calling people a psychopath, but no one is owed the evidence. I've heard these faggots blame Director Vindaloo and Bongina for lack of evidence shared. But it's not a federal fucking case, folks, and if the Utah police are smart, they ain't sharing shit with the FBI.
Maybe not. My theory on feds is they're like mushrooms. Feed them shit and keep them in the dark.
Yes, fuck the feds and keep them in the dark. Speaking of feds, I implore everyone and anyone out there to tune in to every single time Kyle Seraphin has Steve Baker on the show. I think you should follow Kyle at all times, but as I said earlier, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but listening to these two makes it hard not to believe in that Jason Bourne type world out there. They actually bring the evidence. They show it to you. And I'm left with my jaw on the floor every fucking time. And now we got a dead federal investigator, a death under suspicious circumstances, and the only thing he had going on in his career at the time was that he was looking into the still in the closet female former Capitol Police officer. What the ever-loving fuck, people. This actually happened. Forget the fact that Baker exposed that the J5 pipe bomber caught on video frequently checking her Apple smartwatch while Brian Cole owned no such watch. In fact, he's a Samsung guy, not Apple. You hear this shit and realize that you don't hate the FBI enough. This whole, well, our guys are in charge now, is a bunch of faggot bullshit. It's the same FBI as it always was, and in my opinion, it's much worse in a way because it is our side now. They were supposed to fix this shit. They went the opposite way. Imagine an egotist like Dan Bongina being forced out in under a year. Can you imagine what it does to a narcissist like that? It's over for him. He's crashed out. His show is a fucking joke. He's a shell of who he once was. But this FBI broke him. Why? Because nothing has changed, and it just tells me that Dan was always a fake. And yes, I too was fooled by him. I'm guilty of that. And that's not to besmirch all feds. I often use the ATF for my gun cases. Those guys never let me down. U.S. Marshals, to me, were the cream of the federal crop. If I had a homicide suspect who fled the state before capture, just one phone call and the marshals had him hemmed up in a day. No matter where they were, they lived to hunt. They were incredible. But the FBI, even the Secret Service, they let me down more than a few times. They were showboaters and headline grabbers. That's it. Cameras, raid jackets, all pomp and circumstance, but hollow as fuck. Sticking with dumb cops, it looks like King Faggot Michael Fanone is being referred for criminal conduct. Now, I'm not familiar with the Fed system and how this stuff works when a referral is coming from a mental midget / horsefly, Ivan Raiklin, but I hope, beyond hope, that Ivan is successful. Fanone, like Candace Owens, needs to be Thanos snapped out of society. Now, check this shit out. Now, I know a lot of people are pointing out yet again another female cop being a risk to herself and others. I don't know this cop, but I do know less than a handful of female officers who I was grateful for their backup when the shit hit the fan with me. Very few, but beyond that, there's plenty of male officers on scene. What did I see? No pepper spray. I know I say this a lot, but tasers fucking suck, folks. They absolutely suck and only work about half the time. I see a failed taser deployment, no cap stun, and more importantly, I don't see a row of rescues lined up for the suspects with broken limbs and missing teeth. What the fuck has happened to law enforcement when a female officer gets pounded and the person responsible is shooed away? The only two apprehended, they're totally fine. No scrapes or bruises or wheelchair confinement for life. This job has gone to complete shit. Sticking with the job, we got an NYPD detective shot in the back 10 days before retirement. Apparently he's doing well and will make a full recovery, thank God for that. No doubt Mamdani has apologized profusely to the suspect and his family. Just a reminder to all of NYP, get the fuck out now, man. If you stay, I won't mourn for you. Let it fucking burn. Switching gears, man. Thomas Massey has always been a badass to me. But a defeated Thomas Massey with nothing to lose is some next level shit.
So let me ask you. I heard that you like gay porn. Is that true?
Gosh, man, I just want to give you a chance. Your
I'm
side
giving you a
of it.
chance to give me your side.
Into
Are you a real news organization or not? No, come back, man. All you got to say is you don't like it, that you haven't been to those websites.
Of course
All right.
Of course I don't like it.
Really?
But thank you.
That's not what I heard.
Thank you for your time. Just giving you a chance to respond, that's all.
And you're with Fox?
Thank you.
Is that a real news organization?
Yep.
Is this what you do for a living, man?
Now it's time for the final call. On this date, July 6, 2022, police officer Loren Courts, Detroit PD, was shot and killed while responding to a shooting call near the intersection of Joy Road and Marlowe Street at about 7:30 p.m. When Officer Courts and his partner arrived at the scene, subject immediately began shooting at them, striking Officer Courts while he was still in his patrol car. After being shot, Officer Courts put the car in reverse, and he and his partner jumped out of the car to take cover. His partner tried to save him by applying pressure to his wound with her back toward the approaching gunman. The subject had come downstairs from the building, pointing the gun at the two officers. Other officers who had arrived on scene shot and killed the suspect. Officer Courts was transported to Sinai Grace Hospital, where he succumbed to his wounds a short time later. Man who sold the gun to the suspect has been charged with illegally purchasing a firearm. The shooter had a criminal record and could not buy a weapon legally. Officer Courts had served with the Detroit PD for 5 years and was assigned to the 2nd Precinct. He is survived by his wife, son, daughter, and parents. His father had recently retired from the Detroit PD. Also on this date, back in 1952, Border Patrol Inspector Edwin Wheeler, United States DOJ, was shot and killed near Mathis, Texas, after conducting government business in the city. He had contacted one of his sources in the city. His body was found in his vehicle, which had been driven Nueces River Bridge on Highway 59 north of Sandia. No suspects were ever identified. Inspector Wheeler had served with the United States Border Patrol for 11 years. Lastly, on this date, Patrolman Daniel Norton, Dubuque PD, Iowa, 1904, was shot and killed after responding to a domestic disturbance at a residence, 930 Bluff Street. As he approached the house, a man came out and opened fire, striking Patrolman Norton in the heart. The suspect ran into the street and was subdued by several citizens. The suspect was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in Anamosa Penitentiary on March 5, 1905. He was pardoned by Governor George W. Clark on March 26, 1914. Patrolman Norton had served with the Dubuque PD for 5 years. He was survived by his wife, son, and daughter. May they all continue to rest in peace. And we'll finish with a couple of July 14 timeline cleanses. But before we go, to all those out there struggling with that mental demon, remember to stop, breathe, survive. Later, bitches.
Get him, Jay. I'm not a cop.
You got DP'd.